You're with God, Day 89. The reading for today is out of 1 Chronicles chapter 6, and it focuses on the idea of worshiping God through song. And this is probably the most common way that we worship God. I'm troubled sometimes because it seems like we equate it with worship, and that's not always the case. And in the devotional reading, they talk about worshiping God with song and encouraging you to worship God with song at some point in the day. But then they end off with a quote from Frederick Buechner that I want to read to reflect on. It says, "To worship God means to serve God. Basically, there are two ways to do it. One way is to do things for God that God needs to have done. Run errands for God, carry messages for God, fight on God's side, feed God's lambs, and so on. The other way is to do things for God that you need to do. Sing songs for God, create beautiful things for God, give things up for God, tell God what's on your mind and in your heart. In general, rejoice and make a fool of yourself for God, the way lovers have always made fools of themselves for the one they love." And I think it was interesting that they threw that quote in a section that had to do inherently with worshiping God through music. But I think it opens up some of those other avenues of worship as well. Introduces some of those other ones, if you will. The fact that we can worship and should worship in a variety of different ways. And singing, while definitely a valid form of worship, is not the be-all and end-all of what worship is. Worship isn't just singing and rejoicing and feeling good. It encompasses a whole lot more. It encompasses our entire lives being offered to God. And I thought this was a very interesting quote to introduce that concept. So that's Day 89.